What's up, y'all? Show most that's most Christopher. We're back in that video. Alright. I got I'm Chim. What Playboi Carti music could have been? Could have been. What you talking about could have been? And he just dropped Ye. Ooh, wow, okay. Alright, I'm missing on a lot of iTunes, so this week we is catching up on iTunes videos. I think he had a side side trip. He ran now it's Ye, low key. He been posting consistently. He been on one. Shout out to iTunes.
Has been a year since we did get it. In this video, let's take a look at what music could have been if it dropped during the older eras, how it would have impacted Carti's career now, and look at the music during these eras. And now, after Whole Lotta Red on Christmas 2020, Carti's career would take a turn, building one of the most diehard cult fan bases ever, leading fans waiting for whatever new music or album he was gonna drop following Whole Lotta Red. And in 2021, we would get a glimpse of Carti's next album, with Carti announcing Narcissus out of nowhere, which all fans know what this album was, being one of his many scrapped albums, probably also having one of the coolest aesthetics and rollouts ever, which would ultimately lead to this album being forever left in the dust. But the Narcissus era would last from like mid 2021 to early 2022, and it would of course introduce the deep voice era, which you would first hear on Kanye's Donda 2 listening party with Mr. Miyagi, which would be the primary sound of the album music, that being the introduction to the deep voice, which a lot of the Narcissus leaks that we have gotten like these past few years, like 2 Out with Uzi, seriously show the early stages of the deep voice being almost a combination of the deep voice and the raspy voice, with a lot of people comparing it to Future, which I remember seeing a lot. But from the Narcissus leaks that we have heard, it was obvious that the deep voice wasn't, very
so basically he was supposed to drop Narcissus, but now he just scratched that, or he probably still got that in the vote. He just waiting on to drop it. Then he still got Baby Boy to drop too. He got Baby Boy to drop too. Like low key.
These stages, and it was just Carti being very experimental with his voice after a Whole Lotta Red. And yeah, man, it's a shame that it was scrapped. And we also would get the clown era from Carti around this time, which I forgot about. But yeah, man, in early 2022 we would get music officially announced in a XXL interview, officially announcing the name as well as teasing a song name on the album, that being Wicked/Killers. Had fans in an absolute chokehold, and I wish it dropped officially, bro, as it would leak a year after. And also, fun fact, it was supposed to be the lead single for the album. But yeah, man, this leak is forever seen as legendary, and it would start V1 of the music era, with songs in this era being of course Mr. Miyagi, Killers, All Red, which would later drop, Off the Meter, which did drop on More Chaos, 24 songs with Vori, as well as songs that would end up on music like Overly and Toxic with Skepta. This era in 2022 with music V1 is seen as the best version of the album, obviously with the introduction of a new voice. And Carti was literally the most rare motherfucker at this point, bro. Like, he would pop out anywhere and motherfuckers would treat him like a rare Pokemon, bro. And this, and combined with this aesthetic that he was teasing, made the anticipation for the album higher and higher. Obviously, Carti's deep voice has evolved through the years, but in my opinion, during this era is when he did have the best deep voice, as it wasn't as pitched down as it is now. And also, Carti was about to drop at the end of 2022, posting this cover, which if he dropped this version of the album, fans
if he stopped scrapping up the albums and people start leaking it, we might actually get it. And if he stopped acting mysterious and just go ahead and drop the albums and these songs, bro, then he'd be like, bro, it'll be like way different how it would be. Now he scrapped this because there's certain song, man. Okay, man. Say that song is not gonna be on there, and lie to them the whole time. And then put it at the end. Put it between the end. Mix it up. Put a question mark on it. And then when it get played and stuff like that, this sound like blah 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 blah. You put a question mark on it, and then you go back to it later on after everybody get done watching it. You put on that title, and boom. That's how you do it.
Definitely appreciate it more, as it only would have been 2 years after Whole Lotta Red, and it still would have showed the evolution of Carti's sound. But yeah, man, after Music V1 in 2023, Carti would again be in his bag for Music V2, bro. And the aesthetic that Carti did have this year was very unique, working with Sex Is Dead, starting to work with Swamp Izzo, and this year being the year that he would make some of his best songs in this music era, bro. Like, I'm talking Different Day, Hope by Air, Evil Jordan, which was better before that fucking trash ass intro. But Carti at the start of this year, after getting arrested and pushing his album back once again, he would pop out at Rolling Loud previewing Rockstar, bro, a song that he did make 5 minutes before that show. Yo, I had to
Rockstar mean. Rockstar mean. I like this song.
mention this show, because if you guys were watching that shit live, bro, like I had like goosebumps, bro, like that was crazy. And this also was the first time that we would hear Swamp Izzo vocals on a song, which would be very, very prominent for the years to come, with him playing a pivotal role for the album. But a couple of months after, we would get a very special era for Carti fans, besides Whole Lotta Red V2, of course, this year being the Cave era. Now this year Carti was living in Europe for a couple of months in the summer of 2023, living in the deep catacombs, the caves of Paris. And this dude Carti would basically isolate himself and wasn't seen anywhere from anyone. This dude, like, you know, made some of the most erratic music he's ever fucking made. And I remember he would do a interview with Numero Berlin and talk about this new music that he did make in this cave, saying that he has something to prove and that his music is chaotic and crazy that he did record in this cave. Which, yo, in this cave he would record some of his craziest songs, having a very industrial experimental sound like Pop Out, B5, Doctor, which were all recorded in the cave. And if Carti dropped this version of the album with these songs recorded in the cave, it would have had fans in a chokehold, because he's bringing something new for the fans and he isn't making anything for the mainstream appeal. His aesthetic and his creative process at the time was top tier, and if he dropped the album this year, but shit would have been crazy, bro. And also, but this would be the same time period that he would record the Meet Yo Maker music video, which would never drop but would later leak. Probably like the most questionable Carti, you know, video that we've ever seen, but I definitely see the creative vision for sure. And he also would first preview Pop Out as soon as he got out of the cave at Wireless, and yo, that shit was crazy. And yeah, bro, this era was literally Whole Lotta Red on steroids. Like, it had that rage element, but it obviously did have that deep voice as well, and it also did have a industrial dark metal spin to it almost. But yeah, man, this era Carti was definitely in his bag, and this was also the Antagonist era as well. I remember seeing this Antagonist initial teaser. And after Carti would leave the cave, he would feature on Fiend, again showcasing the deep voice, but this time to a, you know, bigger level. And yeah, this song became an absolute hit, and it would be the perfect recipe for building an insane hype for music. And at the end of this year, bro, in 2023, Carti would start the insane single run, starting it off with Different Day, which, hey, bro, y'all know where y'all were when this dude Carti fucking dropped this song out of nowhere on Instagram. Followed by 2024, Hold by Air, then Backrooms, and yo, from 2023 to 2024, the hype would be at an all-time high, with the album now being called I Am Music, paying homage to Wayne, Carti working with producers like Card of the Wings. And now from early 2024 to 2025, I'd say this is Music V3, also known as I Am Music, including the IG songs like Backrooms and Ketamine, I don't know, Problem Child with Travis. Like, he was, you know, working with Travis a lot. And
yeah, he was going in his bag with him and Travis. Like, him and Travis Scott was actually in their bag with that stuff. Like, I don't know, there's so many artists that he need to go ahead and drop like songs with, albums with, bro. Like, not gonna hold you, son. I'm just waiting on that day, when that day to come. Him and Osana son finally do it. Or Nespin. Him and Nespin too. It's crazy.
This like era, Wake Up Filthy, a Travis song, Mojo Jojo. And in 2024, it would be the year that many fans thought that we would get the album, hence the single 2024. But this year we would see a aesthetic change from Carti, as well as them focusing a lot on the deep voice and then paying homage to the 2000s era, getting NBA teams to post them as well, which was just fucking crazy, and paying homage to Wayne a lot, having everyone rock backwards jerseys, as well as them rapping on a lot of trap ATL beats, which would be the trend for the album until its release. I remember at this time, and when The Weeknd did bring out Carti to perform Timeless in Brazil, bro, they was seen with like freaking
timeless, stay timeless, 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 stay timeless.
Mike Dean backstage, bro. I was like, bro, music is gonna be fucking generational, bro, because if he has Mike Dean production, it's actually over. But you know, that did not end up happening. Besides, I'd rather lie. 2024 Carti would be working a lot with mainstream artists, making Timeless and Rather Lie with The Weeknd, making Crush with Travis, and overall having this album music be massive mainstream appeal. Which, fast forward to 2025, the year that music would drop, we would finally get the album on March the 14th, with the album being delayed delay, dropping at 7 a.m. with everyone being up, waiting for the album, with Carti still working on the album until it did freaking drop that same day. Which, hey, bro, you had 5 years, Carti, so I don't know what you were working on, but hey.
Man, that man was living life, still dropping a few, making music in the void and stuff like that. That's what he do, saying. I just realized how what Carti do. He go travel around the world, make music, and put it in the void. And then when he need to drop an album, them songs that he already have on the void, he just push them out. Or he want to add an extra, he'll hurry up and go in the studio that night. And do it.
Bro, but the project would drop and it would have 30 damn songs. Now, music would honestly have a combination of Carti's work from all of his different music eras. There was definitely a lot of newly recorded music on there, with Carti adding Kendrick features on there, likely pushed by the label. And right off the bat, when the album did drop, it would get mixed opinions. Now, this album is not bad by any means. It is clear that it is all over the place and doesn't have one exact theme, with the songs being from multiple eras and having random features, like I said, Kendrick, and having an entire Uzi song on the album. Honestly, I think Carti starting the album off.
I'm jumping on drugs. I'm jumping on drugs. Don't do that, my nigga. Hey, I'm jumping on drugs. I'm jumping on drugs. Don't do that, my nigga. Wait, I'm jumping on drugs. I'm just balling. Pink tape. Tony Tiger, great.
Pop out was amazing, but imagine if he kept that same experimental, chaotic theme throughout the album, bro. Like, which the reason why this album was all over the place and did have 30 fucking tracks and did have a Kendrick feature was Carti being less experimental, and it was Carti's attempt to be accepted by the mainstream. Prior to this album, Carti was already mainstream and he did have a very cult fan base, but this album music was an attempt to get accepted by the mainstream and potentially win a Grammy, which the mainstream appeal did definitely work with this album being sold over 300K. But this year, Carti would not get nominated for a freaking Grammy, and Ack would later say that Carti told him that he could have made an album for the fans, but the label told him that he has to make songs that are global and have big collabs, yada yada yada.
Low key, fuck that nigga. But low key, not gonna hold you. Hey, he performed at the show though. Yeah, I think he did though.
Which, yeah, bro, obviously this did work for the popularity, but the authenticity and the creativity that Carti once had was not as much there for this album. And bro, is music a bad album? Not at all. We obviously did get 30 songs after 5 years, obviously the 5-year wait, but the highs on this album are definitely high, with this album recently coming back into my rotation and a lot of Carti's best work being on this project. But the album was very, very successful, and I think for Carti's next album, Baby Boy, he will make it for the fans, especially seeing how much it was missing for music. But overall, seeing what music could have been if he had dropped it in earlier eras is definitely interesting looking back on it.
Oh yeah, Baby Boy is gonna be something good. We watching this. We're gonna catch up with a Summer Sound New Era thing this week coming up. We're catching up on all videos for our channel. So yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Follow our social media, pop on the screen. We're on the road to 500. I'm out, y'all. I'm jumping on drugs. Don't do that, my nigga. I'm jumping on drugs.